Welcome to the Razors Inc. podcast with your host, Jonathan Farini. It's been said that being a teenager is like walking a tightrope. You have one foot in childhood, the other in adulthood, always and awkwardly trying to find your balance. So there's a TV show that combines that awkward time in a person's life while addressing current issues like politics, race, and sexuality. But what may surprise you is that the show is not from today, but rather more than 50 years ago. So pour yourself a drink, pull up a chair, and hear Jonathan's take on movies, television, and today, another one of those TV shows underappreciated and overlooked. Here's your host, Jonathan Farini.
High school is a pivotal experience for everybody. I was a high school student from 1972 and graduated in 1976, just outside Los Angeles. I recall several movies about the high school experience. Blackboard Jungle, 1955.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Put your glad rags on.
Glenn Ford and a young, dynamic Sidney Poitier are teacher and student inside a tough New York City high school. Sidney dominates every scene inside this movie, even opposite Glenn Ford. He would have been 28 years old, but playing a teenager convincingly. See my podcast, Juvenile Delinquency, Everything Old is New Again, where I discuss this seminal film in detail. To Sir with Love, 1967. Sidney Poitier plays a teacher in a tough East London high school.
If you wanted the sky, I would ride across the sky in letters that would soar 1,000 feet high to serve with love.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High, 1982. Made Sean Penn a star.
Why don't you get a job, Spicoli?
What for?
You need money.
All I need are some tasty waves, a cool buzz, and I'm fine. Oh, Mr. Hand?
What's the reason for your truancy?
Just couldn't make it on time.
You mean you couldn't or you wouldn't?
It was like a full crowd scene at the food line.
Food will be eaten on your time. Why are you continuously late for this class, Mr. Spicoli? Why do you shamelessly waste my time like this?
I don't know.
I like that. I don't know. Mr. Hand, will I pass this class? Gee, Mr. Spicoli, I don't know. That's nice. I really like that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave your words on this board for all my classes to enjoy. Giving you full credit, of course, Mr. Spicoli.
All right.
And shout out to Ray Walston playing Mr. Hand. It was television which brought the experience of high school to me in a manner I could relate. Room 222 ran from 1969 to 1974 on ABC for 5 seasons and 113 episodes. I was a high school freshman and sophomore during its last 2 seasons. Gene Reynolds was the executive producer, who would have been 46, a writer, producer, director, and actor. He got a start as a child actor, but went on to direct Leave It to Beaver, The Andy Griffith Show, and My 3 Sons. He'd go on to develop the television series MASH. Actor to executive producer, young people. Anything is possible in Hollywood. Take any job and just show up and work harder than anybody else. Magic might happen for you too. Richard Brooks was the creator and writer. He would have been 29. Brooks is a multiple Oscar winner. Check him out. Started as an usher at CBS, young people. Neither Reynolds or Brooks were kids, and creating, producing, and writing a show about high school students during a tumultuous period in American history is stupendous. Television can be really good or really bad. See my podcast, Television is the Supermarket of All Media. Room 222 was really good. All the episodes are on YouTube and run for only 22 minutes each, with the commercials edited out. Yet, the issues explored include race, politics, history, sexuality, free speech, and women's lib, all explored in fine fashion, without patronization of the characters or the audience. The series opens with a beautiful music composition by Jerry Goldsmith, who was nominated for 18 Oscars, winning one over his career. The opening titles are simple, resembling writing on a chalkboard. I hear the beautiful composition and get melancholy. Jerry is setting the tone for the introduction of the cast, who by the end of the opening credits, you just know you and the students are in good hands. Opening credits can be essential. See my podcast. Opening titles and closing credits are the prologues and epilogues of visual media. Premiering in 1969, Room 222 was groundbreaking with the introduction of two black lead actors in the series. Handsome and charismatic actor Lloyd Haynes plays American history teacher Pete Dixon. We're introduced to him in the opening credits as he pulls up in a Plymouth convertible. He prefers tweed sport coats, button-down shirts, a tie, and slacks. Denise Nichols plays guidance counselor Liz McIntyre, who is dating Pete. She's beautiful, sensitive, caring, and convincing. Michael Constantine plays Principal Mr. Kaufman, who pulls up and parks at the curbstone marked Principal. One look at Kaufman, and you read him as a tired but caring administrator, just trying to keep things rolling along while maintaining an open mind. Throughout the series, he listens to and appreciates a multitude of viewpoints, always putting the students and staff first and foremost. Karen Valentine plays a student teacher named Alice, who is learning from Pete. In many respects, she's not much older or wiser than her students, and stumbles but learns. She's cute, vulnerable, caring, and convincing. She wants to become a good teacher. She's essential to the series because she's closest to the students in age and can relate to their struggles.
Pete Dixon, Alice Johnson.
Hi, it's a pleasure.
Miss Johnson is here to dry the area behind her ears. She's going to spend the rest of this semester with you, student teaching. And if she's smart, she'll go back to college and change her major.
Oh, I really care about teaching. I hope it's a meaningful semester for both of us.
Just what you always wanted, right? Meaningful semester?
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman.
Keep in touch.
Bye, Mr. Kaufman. He doesn't like me. But I'm sort of used to it. See, I have this way of getting on people's nerves, but I'm working on it. That's why I think it's very important that you and I establish good human relations.
Right.
I know I have a lot of middle-class hang-ups. I went to a segregated school.
Oh, that's okay. So did I.
The cast is rounded out by a hard-nosed teacher, a nerdy teacher, athletic coach, and a young ensemble cast of diverse students. The exterior was shot at Los Angeles High School, which was ravaged in a 1971 earthquake. The opening credits showcasing the campus and student body, in my opinion, resemble a college campus. And the pairing of neatly dressed students appearing to be in their early 20s didn't resemble my high school experience, but it's okay because the content of the series is paramount. My take is the beautiful musical composition, opening credits, and introduction of the players sets the tone for the series. What's the tone? In Pete's class, he teaches American history by introducing the material and encourages debate. His approach is similar to the Socratic method. Pete allows students to vent, disagree, but also permits them to come to their own conclusions. Here's some examples of the storylines which will demonstrate the tone of this series. Season 2, Episode 3, The Lincoln Story, 1970. Slavery in America. The class discusses Abe Lincoln's consideration of various methods to saving the Union, making the class uncomfortable with potential outcomes for the slaves.
Some of you feel that the good Lincoln did made him a great man. There are others here who feel that the bad was far too serious for him to be considered great. Well, if a man is great, his reputation should be able to stand up to that challenge. However, the most important thing is that you keep questioning, that you accept nothing at face value, examine everything with an open mind, and not be afraid of the truth.
Season 2, Episode 1, Right On, Brother, 1970. The Press and the First Amendment. A frustrated student writer on the school paper decides to create an alternative student paper. Pete agrees to be interviewed, but the paper produces a highly critical faculty appraisal of Alice, played by Karen Valentine, who is visibly hurt but nonetheless encourages the paper to continue.
I think I resign. You can't. I heard Pam say that she was going to quit the paper. Don't, Pam. Don't any of you quit. I know you wrote the column that I was mentioned in, Tip. I never could mistake your style, even when you don't split an infinitive. I didn't like the content much, but then I wouldn't, would I? Anyhow, it didn't kill me or anything. What I really think is that the teacher evaluation column should be reevaluated. It hurts people. But even if it stays the way it is, and other people get hurt, don't quit your paper. Look, you have something to say, and you should try to say it. Say important things.
Season 3, Episode 11, What is a Man? 1971. Coming out as a gay student. A male student is assigned a female role in a play, and his best friend distances himself. He's ridiculed by many students.
I don't know what I am. Do you? I know what my name is. I know where I live, what I like to do. But what am I, Mr. Dixon? According to them, I'm just an it.
I think you're a boy about to become a man.
Yeah, that's the magic word. Listen, since I don't seem to fit anyone's bill, maybe you can give me a definition. Please. Tell me. What is a man?
Howard, there's many answers to that question as there are men. Some people think it's one who has courage and can face responsibility. Others think it's anyone who can chase girls. Look, Howard, I can't define to you what a man is. It's just something that you'll have to feel.
But I don't feel it, Mr. Dixon.
How old are you?
16.
I realize that it doesn't all hang together right away, but give it time. It will.
Really?
Really.
Season 3, Episode 4, Adam's Lib, 1970. This is about the women's lib movement, and the male students have difficulty with the immersion of women into perceived male courses like auto shop class. The female student body show women are the equals of men by enlisting a tall, athletic female student with one heck of a layup and all-net shot from outside the key to play on the men's basketball team.
Sandy, you and the girls have been caught up in women's lib would really appreciate Shaw's attitude toward women. He was a great champion for women's rights in his day, you know? One of the things he said was, women are only called womanly when they regard themselves solely for the use of men. Bernie?
Well, that is very interesting. But what does it mean?
Well, it means that men have always tended to look upon women as sexual objects first and people second. Okay, now, what are you laughing at? Women want respect. They want to be thought of as equals. They don't want to be looked upon as just a pair of legs or a pair of... All right. Bernie, how would you feel if when you went walking down the street, girls whistled at you? See, you'd be flattered for a minute, but you wouldn't feel very respected, would you?
This episode was the precursor to Title IX of 1972, requiring equal opportunities and funding for women and men's sports. Look for some guest stars just beginning their careers, including Richard Dreyfuss, Terry Garr, Cindy Williams, Kurt Russell, Rob Reiner, and Mark Hamill. Chuck Norris showed up too.
Okay, Larry, this is a kata, or design form, called Pyongan. It's a simulated defense against several attackers. Notice the yell, or the ki that he does. That's to help generate more power in his techniques. In this form, you're helping develop balance, coordination, power, endurance. You can see the tremendous power he's going through there.
I submit Room 222 encouraged people to enter the teaching profession, similar to the Jack Webb series, Dragnet, Adam 12, and Emergency, attracting people to becoming first responders. Karen Valentine and Michael Constantine won Emmys for Best Supporting Actor in 1970. The executive producer, Gene Reynolds, won the Emmy for Outstanding New Series the same year. Lloyd Haynes was nominated for an Emmy in 1970. Room 222 wrapped production in 1974 and was followed by the ABC sitcom Welcome Back, Kotter, making John Travolta a star.
Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back.
It ran from 1975 to 1979, 4 seasons, 95 episodes. A 30-minute sitcom whose emphasis was comedy, not social commentary, like Room 222. It was created by Gabe Kaplan, a stand-up comedian and actor who stars as a teacher to a remedial class of misfits. Listen to a great theme song by John Sebastian, but in my opinion, the series is simply a laugh track-infused sitcom with one-liners. But I appreciate the comedic and acting chops of Gabe Kaplan, hurting the misfit students. What happened between the wrap of Room 222 and inception of Welcome Back, Kotter? It was only a single year. I contend during the run of Room 222 between 1969 and 1974, the viewing public was weary of Nixon, Watergate, the Vietnam War, a bad economy, and desperately sought out humor and disco. So what's with the tone you mentioned and episodes you included about Room 222, Jonathan? The series is about good teaching, encouragement of debate, and tolerance for differing opinions. Room 222 is a time capsule series, which, if discovered today, opened up, and reviewed, provides us valuable lessons about education. I believe this series is idealistic and speaks to what high school should aspire to be. We live in a time where civil social discourse on campus seems to have been replaced with shouting, bullying, and the curriculum has been reported to be one-sided. I submit we should return to Room 222 for a refresher course, and to anybody seeking to enter the venerable teaching profession, please watch this series. It will encourage and inspire you. For the rest of us, did you recognize any former faculty and staff members from your high school within the characters of Room 222? Fortunately, I did. Until I see you next time, leave behind a soft footprint, and class is dismissed.
And make no mistake, Room 222 certainly isn't without its faults. The occasional canned laugh track, for example, is awkward at a minimum. But if one were to look at the issues covered within Room 222 on a weekly basis, this was one show that broke down barriers light years ahead of its time. Again, look for entire episodes of Room 222 available now for free on YouTube. You've been listening to the Razors Inc. podcast with Jonathan Farini. Be sure to check out Jonathan's collection of fiction at the Jonathan B. Farini Story Collection at jonathanfarini.com. There you'll find everything from drama to romance, something for every reader, including his latest short story, A Notary Public, recently published by Modern Literature. That's jonathanfarini.com, Farini with 2 R's, 1 N. Or drop an email to razorsincpodcast@gmail.com.